Most of you would have heard about the story of Adi Yogi from a spiritual organization in South India, claiming that Adi Yogi is the first yogi who gave the knowledge of yoga to the public. He came around 15,000 years back, and he is called Adi Yogi, and he is also Shiva. So, is it true or not? We have to understand. So that's why I thought of making a small video. I'm trying to speak from the book written by my Acharya, Yoga, a Divine Vedas Philosophy. This book is really a gem of a book, very small book, but it gives very deep secrets about yoga and Vedas philosophy. As the book can be, in the title can be seen, Yoga, a Divine Vedas Philosophy. Yoga itself is, yoga has its origin from Vedas, because the fundamental law of nature cannot be changed, that knowledge is never gained unless it is given by someone, and that knowledge is called as Ved. Ved itself is called as Jnana, Vid, from Vid Dhatu, Ved means Jnana, knowledge. So the knowledge of everything in this universe has come from Vedas, and knowledge of yoga also has come from Vedas only. If the statement is true that Adi Yogi is the first yogi who gave the knowledge of yoga 15,000 years back, the books which have been written by great Rishi Muni yogis after this time, that is from now between 15,000 years, should mention about Adi Yogi. The authentic Rishi Muni's books like Vyas Muni, Patanjali Rishi, Kapil Muni, Yajnavalkya Rishi, all these Rishi Munis, whoever have written, like Maharishi Dayananda Saraswati, many Rishi Munis have come in the last 15,000 years. None of the book mentions anything about Adi Yogi as a first yogi. This is point number one. And the proof also is like here in this book, my Guruji has written very beautifully in Yoga Darshan 26th Sutra of the first Pad, 1 by 26 says, Sa Yesha Purvesham Api Guruhu Kalena Navachedar. Almighty God is the first Guru. Why he is the first Guru of this universe? He gave this knowledge to the human beings at the start of universe. Why? Because Kale Nana Vachedat, he is beyond death. Almighty God is beyond death and birth. That is why he exists in Pralaya and he creates this universe. After creating the universe, after creating the human beings, he gives the knowledge of all the subjects in Vedas. Sa Yesha Purvesham Api Guru. So he is called as Guru. So that means we have to understand Guru definition itself means a person who is knower of Vedas. Almighty God is first Guru because he knows Vedas and he gives this knowledge to the Rishis, and those Rishis again become Guru. So we have to accept only those people as Guru who are knower of Vedas, who are authority in Vedic knowledge. And also in Yajnavalkya Smriti, my Guruji has written Yajnavalkya Smriti Shlok, Yajnavalkya Muni says, Hiranya Garbha Yogasya Vakta. Hiranya Garbha means, you need to understand, Jyotir Vairanyam. That Almighty God is also called as Hiranya Garbha. Yogasya Vakta. He is the originator of yoga knowledge. He gives the yoga knowledge in the Vedas. This is the meaning of this shloka from Yajnavalkya. So that means who is Adi Yogi? We don't know. There is no person as such authentic available in our scriptures as called as Adi Yogi. Shivji Maharaj is authentic for sure. Shivji Maharaj, the name comes in Valmiki Ramayana. I have the book with me. Here. Valmiki Ramayana, even in the first Bal Kanda only, the story of Shiva Ashramam comes. Sri Ram, Sri Lakshman as well as Vishwamitra ji, they were walking in the jungle, and then Ram sees an ashram and then asked Vishwamitra, this ashram looks very divine, what is this? Who is living there? Then Vishwamitra answers that this ashram is Shiva Ashramam. Lord Shiva used to reside here, and still their disciples Rishi Munis are residing here. So Lord Shiva lived before the time of Sri Ram. That is also a proof. Shiv is a real human being and he lived before Sri Ram, and Sri Ram lived 1 crore 80 lakh years before. So Shiv did not live 15,000 years back, and he is not Adi Yogi. Shivji Maharaj lived before 1 crore 80 lakh years. So that is the age of Lord Shiva. So And we have to understand one more thing is, whatever knowledge we are knowing today as yoga, we know today in the modern world what we know as yoga is the asana and pranayam and meditation. These are part of yoga, and my Guruji has beautifully written in his book, asana pranayam meditation is not yoga, it is a part of yoga philosophy. Yoga is one of the means to realize Almighty God. Yoga philosophy is not to cure diseases. This is a major thing today we are believing. Many of the people have been believed, they have been forced to believe that yoga, by doing yoga we will be curing our diseases. But the philosophy of yoga is not given by Almighty God for this. Yoga philosophy is given by Almighty God to realize Almighty God. Self-created knowledge is always harmful, so we have to follow the yoga knowledge which is given by Almighty God in the Vedas. The origin of yoga philosophy is in the Vedas, which I spoke earlier. An aspirant should accept the knowledge of yoga and Vedas in totality and not in parts. Atharva Veda warns, do not steal a portion of Vedas and accept and try to adopt in your life. You have to accept Veda in totality. That means we cannot steal one portion of Veda, only asana or pranayam, and say that this is yoga, this is yoga. This is absolutely against the will of Almighty God, and we will get punishment for this kind of acts from Almighty God himself. And as you can see by mentioned by my Guruji, self-created knowledge is always harmful. So what is yoga? Yoga is not asana. Yoga philosophy means Ashtanga Yoga, 8 limbs. There are 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. The 8th limb is the Almighty God realization, which is the Samadhi stage. So the yoga philosophy starts with Yam and Niyam, and it doesn't start with Asana. So if I want to learn yoga philosophy, I have been learning yoga philosophy for the last 15-16 years. The first start, it will start with the Vedic education, because unless we don't know what is in Vedas, we cannot know what is there in yoga. Because the first and foremost principle of yoga philosophy is Yam and Niyam. Yam, Satya, Ahimsa, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha. Satya, we have to speak the truth. Truth means one which doesn't change with time. So that truth is always in Vedas, and that truth is Almighty God. So we have to know who is that Almighty God. This is a part of yoga philosophy. Satya, Ahimsa, we cannot eat non-vegetarian food. We cannot eat egg. We cannot eat hurt any animals and be happy for and build our body for our benefits. This is absolutely against yoga philosophy. Ahimsa, and we cannot hurt others. We cannot we are building bodies and then to hurt others. This is absolutely not acceptable in yoga philosophy. Satya, Ahimsa, Asteya, do not steal others. Even stealing others' ideas is considered as theft. This is not acceptable by Almighty God. Satya, Ahimsa, Asteya, Brahmacharya. We have to maintain our vital power inside the human body, both male and female. And yoga philosophy is not for male, it's for both male and female, for all the human beings. Brahmacharya also means control of senses, control of perceptions, serving the learned acharya. All this comes under Brahmacharya. Then Aparigraha, what is needed, that is the only thing which we should not save unnecessary things. What is needed for you, you save. What is, these are 5 yams and niyam. Shauch, Santosh, Tapah, Swadhyaya, Ishwar, Pranidhanani. Shauch is cleanliness, both the cleanliness of our body as well as mind. Buddhi, Jnane, Nashudyati. The mind and Buddhi can get purified only by Gyan, only by Vedic knowledge. Gyan means Vedas. Mind and Buddhi can be purified by Vedic knowledge. Diyo Yonah Prachodhyad. We have heard about Gayatri Mantra, chanting Gayatri Mantra, doing everyday Agnihotra, serving the learned Acharya. These are the things which will make our mind and Buddhi pure. Then Shauch, Santosh. Santosh means whatever we have to try to be happy. We should not be greedy. My friend has something, so my friend has a car, I don't have a car, then I'm greedy for this, I'm becoming unhappy for this. This is not Santosha. Santosha is being contained and satisfied. Shout Santosh. Tapaha. Tapaha means Shrutam Tapaha. Listening of Vedas is Tapaha. Listening of Vedas not by audio cassettes, not by YouTube videos. Listening of Vedas by serving a learned Acharya is Tapaha. Then Dhanam Tapaha, serving, giving, donating money, donating wealth, donating anything possible to a learned Acharya is called as tapaha. These are the tapaha. Not by growing bird, growing big hair in the body, and then making my body slim and standing in water or walking on Agni. These are all not tapasya. Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means Swa Adhyayan. We have to read Vedas, reading books written by Rishi Munis, listening Vedas and reading Vedas, and also doing Nam Jap of Almighty God is Swadhyaya. Then Ishwar Pranidhanani, we should leave all our, we should not expect results and do a karma. We should do our karma and give the results to Almighty God, because Almighty God says in Vedas, in Yajurveda, whatever deed you do, none of the deed gets wasted. I will give the result for each and every deed of yours in your life. So please do not worry about the result of the deed. That is Ishwar Pranidhanani. So these two are Yam and Niyam. Without these two, that means Vedas, you see in all these 10 steps, the Vedas is each and every step the Vedas is there. So without Yam and Niyam, doing asana will not give any benefit to us, will not give asan siddhi. And asan means Stiram Sukham Asanam. Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, my Guruji has written in this book, Stiram Sukham Asanam means the position, the posture where you are sitting, which is giving you immense happiness, pleasure from inside. That is called as asan. It's not that you do all the asanas, 84 asanas, 100 asanas, putting a video in YouTube. This is not called as asana. Stiram Sukham Asan. The moment asan becomes sthir, asan becomes stable, then we will be able to attain the benefit of pranayama. And after the pranayama, pratyahara, our control, the indriya, the senses, the perceptions, will get controlled within ourselves. We will not be more seeking joy or happiness from outside. We will be having the joy and happiness from inside. This is pratyahara. I am not an able person to explain these things. I am a learning student from my acharya. But these things have to be listened only from a yogi who has attained Almighty God. Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. Dharana is also is like Desh Bandhasya Chittasya Dharana, means concentrating on one portion of the body and meditating is dharana. Then after dharana it converts into meditation. After meditation it converts into samadhi. So meditation, it's the seventh aspect of the yoga philosophy. In today's world, everyone is doing meditation, everyone doing pranayama. This may appear to give us a short-term benefit. Many people, I have many of my friends who say that I am doing yoga, I'm feeling very happy, I'm feeling energetic. But this yoga, the asana and pranayama, they are trying to do it for their material benefit. The goal of yoga, asana, the Yam Niyam, it should start from Yam Niyam, is to realize God. If you are getting a short-term benefit, then and you have not learned it from an acharya, you have learned it from a market by paying money, this is not the right sense, and this will have its after effects later on, at later point of time. And this is not, this is against the Vedas. So this will also have implication in our karma and the karma phala. So we have to understand that to the yoga philosophy in totality, and then go to we have to search a learned acharya. Today people saying people showing one statue as this is the Adi Yogi who taught us yoga philosophy. This is how yoga philosophy means. We have to verify and tally it with with Vedas, because the Smriti itself says Hiranya Garbha Yogasya Vakta. The Yogasya Vakta, the Almighty God is the originator of yoga. So any person telling, if I am telling you something, please verify it with the Vedas philosophy. If you don't know Vedas, please go to an acharya and verify whether I am telling truth or not. If I am telling wrong, please ignore the videos. If any person telling wrong things, ignore the videos. There may be some 1% or 10% of truth in any speech. But my acharya always says, if there is a bucket full of amrit, full of divine water, and then you mix 1 spoon of poison in it, any acharya will not be greedy to consume it. They will say that throw it away. Similarly, if in any speech, in anybody's speech there is a falsehood, we should not think that okay, this guy can have 5%, 10% truth, so why not I? This is not the way God has taught us. God has taught us that go to that person who always speaks truth, and that person can only be a yogi. And we are living in such a situation where we don't have any yogis living, or we have very, very few yogis living who are in dense jungle, or who are in a place where normally people are not reaching. And that is why being Shishya of my Acharya, I just thought of, spreading the truth, but I'm not teaching anything. I cannot teach anything about yoga, etc. I can tell you what is there in yoga. I can tell you that the one of the Acharya I know is my Acharya, but there could be one or two in South India or North India. You have to search. Unless we search a guru, the guru will not come to us, to our doorstep. In Samaveda, there is a mantra which says that just like an animal which is very thirsty, like deer in the forest in summer season, she or he is very thirsty. He finds the water source to quench the thirst, even though he knows that in the water there is crocodile, near the water there is lion, there is tiger sitting to kill him. Still he goes to the water to quench the thirst, otherwise he will die. He takes the full risk to go to water for quenching his thirst. Similarly, God says you have to search the Almighty God. You have to search the truth. You have to search the yogi. So we have to search, then we can get a yogi. Other yogi will not come to your doorstep and knock and okay, I am a yogi, please come in. Yogi will never tell that I am a yogi. These are the things which you have to understand from Vedas. Thank you so much. Namaste. Om.